Greetings YouTube, Sega Zombie here and welcome to another Spectrum Spectacular Lockdown special, guys. And this is kind of done in a Goodwins Place style, as this is a trade with Goodwin, and it's an update on the ZX Spectrum Plus 3 128K. Let's have a little bit of a closer look at this. So we've got a little bit of damage there, and it is kind of loose on this end. But what we're going to do is we're going to open this up, because I have ordered a replacement belt. When we plugged this on the last video, it was making some grind and nasty sounds, so it's clearly a belt issue, we believe. So the belt is ordered. I haven't done one of these in a long time. The last disc drive I repaired was Amstrad, when I collected Amstrad, and that's a few years ago now. So we'll see how this goes, guys. But yeah, I got this off eBay. Data server retro. There's a few sellers selling these, and they're only like a couple of quid. So yeah, we need that. Obviously we need a little toolkit here. We've got some little screwdrivers and tweezers and God knows what. Something else I'm going to use is this stuff, which is absolutely essential for us retro collectors, and that's isopropanol, which cleans cartridge pins, absolutely anything electrical really you can use this on. Make sure you've got that 99.9% purity though, make sure you buy the quality one. And some cotton buds, or in America known as cotton tips, is it? But yeah, we've got some cotton buds there, just to help clean, because while we're in there we might as well clean up the best we can. As far as I can tell, guys, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws on the bottom, and then we've got 2 screws on the side there, so we need to get those out first. And let's just hope this goes well, guys. Old Sega Zombies DIY don't tend to go too great. Let's hope I'm better at fixing a Speccy Plus 3 than I am modifying a shelf, eh? The real important thing is to make sure that we don't lose any screws. So what I'm going to do is use the lid to the Q-tips. Q-tips, that's what they call them, innit? Cotton buds. So the long black ones are for the case. This has definitely been undone before. It's loose, but yeah, just for reference, that's the quite a long screw. Black. So remember that, just in case I've got to watch this back when I come to putting it all back together. I'm one of these people that I take screws out or take things to pieces, and I'm always bits left over, or not enough. Now, if memory serves me, there's a connector. There's like a ribbon cable that connects the two. There's always one, isn't there? Right, let's tip that off. So it's just turning. Right, we've got it. And then we mustn't forget 2 on the side that hold the disk drive. So we'll get those out now. Oh, these are very loose. Very, very loose. Oh, and I've dropped one. That's flat. It's got a flat washer on it. I'll show the other one, and I'm going to do that down here. Just slightly off camera, guys, because I don't want to drop this one. They can go anywhere in here and be lost forever. But yeah, these ones have got like a flat washer around the head. Just for reference. So yeah, we now, technically this should now come apart. Just lift it up slightly. And yes, there's ribbon cable there. And there's also this little connector here, so we'll undo that. So yeah, it looks pretty clean. Inside actually, it's not looking bad at all. This has definitely been out before, I can tell, because we're a screw missing. There's the screw there that is that like an earth or something like that, but there's a screw missing out the disk drive. So I'm hoping that this hasn't been abused, let's say. What we need to do is there's a ribbon cable at the back here, and there's also this leads to a plug, which is the power. So we'll take that off like so. And just kind of keep that out of the way. We've got to undo this one because that's going to allow us to get to the drive. We've also got this at the back, so let's pay attention here that the red, don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but we've got a red wire, so that's got to be to my right. So let's see if we can get that off. Oh, and she's out. There we go, guys, there's the disk drive. Now, if I remember correctly, there's a pin somewhere in here which it looks like it's missing. That's the read write pin, so we're already, I'm pretty certain where this hole is. I could be wrong, but I know there's a pin. I know when I done the Amstrad ones, it's what enables you to copyright, basically. It allows you to copy onto disk. Looks like the pin is missing. I'm not sure though. There's the head there. So we'll give that a clean with isopropyl. The little pad on there, we'll give that a little wipe over too. There's a lot of fluff. Just try and let that focus in, but as you can see there's lots of fluff here. Looks kind of a bit dry there as well. There is a little bit of remnants of grease on there. We might need to re-grease that, guys. So you can either use petroleum jelly, or you can use this stuff. It's just basically car lube, multi-purpose grease, and it helps protect plastic and rubber parts. And yeah, I've always found that that's quite good. We will do that at the end. What we need to do next is assess how we're going to get in here. Now, if you can see in there, this is obviously the front with the LED that lights up front of the disk drive. And as you can see, there's two screws in there, brass screws. Oh, my screwdriver's only just fitting in there. Oh, so I'm going to keep them there so I know where they are. Right, so this should now come off, which it does. It's just going to allow us some access into here. There's another little power there. I think what we've got to do next, if I remember rightly, is we've got to take these screws out on the bottom, which there's three of. One here, and one up here. Again, these ones are like a brassy colour. They're going to be smaller. Sort of gripper on them that grips the circuit board. So we'll put them over one-to-one place. Right, so they're over there. Now, he says, this should lift up. No, this is joining. That's interesting, so let's see if we can get that out of there. Yeah, this has been taken apart before, that just literally fell off. Let's assess what's going on here. So as you can see, see if that zooms in, but that's where the band has got a, that's the motor basically that pulls and drives the belt, and then it goes down on that spindle in the back there. And as you can see, the belt has gathered all the way around this spindle. There you go, look. It's kind of gone gooey, squidgy like blue tack. So it's going to be important now to get the isopropyl, guys. And I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but that brass spinner there, we've got to get all the black goo off that. Yeah, the sort of bottom spindle is looking pretty clean, to be quite honest. I don't think there's any remnants of the band on there. Obviously I'll try and get the isopropyl in there and just give that, you can turn it, I'll see if I can get a Q-tip cotton bud in there and give that a bit of a clean. But my biggest concern is here. There's a lot of residue there. So we get the trusty isopropyl. It's best just to pour a little bit into the lid. Get a Q-tip. Give that a good old soak in there. And then try and get that off. So if I let some of that soak in, you can see instantly, look, I'm only just dabbing that. Just got this little handy set of tweezers that I'm hoping will help. Now I've let that soak just for a couple of minutes, see if we can get the excess rubber. Focus in, you can see it's gathering some on there. Just going to get some good old kitchen towel. Yeah, so we're getting quite a lot of the sticky remnants of that band. Just try and get some of that off there. It's just a bit of time really, just take your time. I know when I first done one of these on an Amstrad, like I said, this is the first Spectrum I've done, but I know when I done the Amstrad I didn't thoroughly clean this, and it can cause you issues. You want this obviously to run as smooth as possible. So I'm just literally scratching as much of that off as I can, and then I'll dunk the clear end in there. Now we've sort of like broken into that band, give that a good clean. As you can see, look, there's loads coming off there. We're getting there slowly, guys. As you can see, look, there's loads coming off. Right, so that's got the most of it off. It's pretty stubborn, guys. You've really got to persevere with it. Just patience, take your time. You might think of a better tool, you know, I'm just using what I've got available. I'm going to get a clean Q-tip, cotton bud, dunk that in there. And then we're going to give it one more good going over. See, look, we're still getting loads off on there. So we're going to dunk it again, the other end. Just keep spinning it, working it. Basically just got to keep going until that Q-tip is clear. So as you can see, it's not as black as it was, it's getting better. Use another one. Focus. And as you can see, it's a lot cleaner now. You know, there's a little tiny remnants, but as I'm stroking it with the Q-tip, giving it a bit of a rub, we're coming up a lot cleaner. As you can see, we're almost there now. Right, so we're happy with that. Now I'm just going to try and get inside here and get to that black spindle at the back there. Just hold the Q-tip like so, and then just give it a spin if you can. I'm just spinning it with my finger, holding the Q-tip onto that, just to make sure there's nothing on there. Look, as you can see, it's coming off nicely. This is just going to help it all work smoothly, run smoother hopefully. So yeah, that's now come out clean, so we're happy with that. Now it's the tricky part. We've now got to get this band on without twisting it. This is the tricky part. Yeah, just try and keep it these can be a bugger. They either go on or they don't. So we've got to feed that into there. So I'm just like gently, you're not going to be able to see, but I've just slowly fed it down. And there we go, guys. I don't know how well you're going to see it, but as you can see, it's looped round the brass motor spindle, and then it's hooked nice and smooth onto the black plastic spindle down there on the lower section of that. So now it's time to put it all back together. Make sure the screws just bite, don't like force them. The belt is an absolute pig. Sometimes they go on pretty quick. That one was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. It's a good thing I had these tweezers, because these old fat fingers wouldn't get in. This one just doesn't seem to want to go back in. Very strange. So we've solved it. The two bottom ones, the ones, yeah, closest to the back, are slightly thicker. That one's a smaller screw. I've got the screwdriver in it, and that goes in there fine. So that's something to take note of, that these, it's best to put them back into the right ones. All three are not the same. You can clearly see it actually. This one is slightly larger. These two are slightly larger than this one. Right guys, so back on up onto this side. What we're going to do is we're going to get some of this, and we're going to put that, just to sort of help it the best we can. Just basically, you only need pretty much a little tiny bit of that onto the cotton, and then we're going to just rub that. A lot of rust in there actually. Yeah. See if we can clean that with maybe some isopropyl. Let's use some more of that, shall we? You know, we want to get these moving parts the best we can. And do you know what, guys? This is quite a thin solution, this. This lubricant is really quite thin, so I think I am going to go with the tried and trusted. Just be quite liberal on there, you know. So over time it can deteriorate plastic, but I've never had an issue with it, guys, never. Right, then the next job is obviously using a clean Q-tip. We're going to clean the head. Now, as you can see, there's quite a bit of dust, dirt. You know, these are 30 odd years old. So again, the trusty alcohol. I'm going to clean round it first. Hair, dust. See, look, that's just from the surround around it. And then I'm going to clean the little pad on the top here as well. Probably no best way of doing that, but just going to rub some of that in there. It's not going to hurt it, hopefully. Give everything a bit of a clean Q-tip into the isopropanol, and just give that head a bit of a wipe like that, and then with the clean end like that. We know that's now lovely and clean. The next step is to get our guard back on. So that sits like that, like that. There you go, that's now clipped in nicely. We've got the two brass screws to put in the end there. Right guys, so we've got the sort of face plate finish back onto the drive. Everything's clean and greased. Hopefully we're going to be okay. So we need to feed this little power or wire input back in there. Make sure that's pushed nice in and snug. We need to set our drive back into where it should go. This all sits lovely actually. It's the right way around. can't really go wrong. I've had disc drives where you've got to know what way round it goes. You can't really go wrong with this. Then we need our power back into there. This screw here. Now normally you should have 2 screws for the drive. You should have another one there. Got a smaller one here. Let's see what this one's like. Yeah, go, that one's held. I ain't going to put it all the way down because I think it's slightly longer, but that's held it there nicely. Just make sure this wire is right out of the way. Right, so there we go. We've got everything back to how it was, guys. So just make sure all of these are in there nicely, they're not moved around. Everything back together nicely. And let's remember our screws, we want the sort of ones with the flat washer into the side of the disc drive, or disc drive side. And then we've got to flip her over and put the 5 screws back in the bottom. Right, so we've got all the screws back into the +3 jump cut now. We're going to hook it up. Right guys, I've moved the camera up slightly so we're on the PVM. I've got an RGB cable here that I'm hoping will work. Here we go, here's the moment of truth. Have we fixed it? Oh yes, it's looking good. So we've got the 128K +3 menu which we had before, but I'm really happy that the SCART cable works. It's the same cable I use for my grey +2. I thought they were not compatible for some reason, but they seem to be working. Now, there's no sound. I can't hear anything coming from that disk drive, which is a bit of a worry. So I thought we'd hear whirring. Oh. Well, we've got somewhere. It kind of loaded. It tried to load. So that's outrun. Let's keep going. Let's try Dragon Ninja next. So we're going to put Dragon Ninja in. I think I might need to give some of these discs a clean, but we're going to go with Dragon Ninja. Press enter. The disc drive is definitely spinning now. Got a black screen again. Yes, we've got a loading screen. We've got Dragon Ninja come up. Oh yes. And we're away, guys. I am chuffed. That is the ZX Spectrum +3 repaired. Now my next task is to clean these +3 discs and play some Spectrum +3, guys. So there you go. I've now got a task of watching, without further ado's, Retro's video, because he's inboxed me and said that he's got a video on how to clean the discs. So maybe we need to do that with Outrun, but I'm really chuffed. The belt change and the clean of the disc drive has done wonders. Over the moon. There you go, Craig. Goodwins Place. I've done this in the style of your videos. Until the next time, guys, I'm Sega Zombie. Goodbye.
Sega Zombie.